I've just started the, there you go.
Okay, we'll let them talk about it first. Catch them under the Call meeting to order. I have pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A roll call.
Voigt.
Present.
Zuber.
Here.
Bruner. Here. Farnham.
Here.
Helsley.
Here.
Patrick. Here. Jennings.
Here. Has everybody read the minutes of December 1st, 2014 reorganization meeting and December 10th regular meeting? Are there any, no additions or corrections? Can I have them?
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
did see a correction that needed to be made. On the vote for vice chairman, it said all were in favor. That was not the case. There was one dissenting vote.
Okay. I'll make that first.
With the correction,
So
can we have, all right, can you give a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Claims against the county.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second to approve claims against the county. All those in favor by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. County board members' claims.
So moved.
We've got a motion and a second to approve county board members' claims. All those in favor, usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public comment.
Chairman, my name is Kirk Allen. The clerk has handed you out a copy of what we discussed Monday in regards to the telecommunications with 911. The first page of that, that's their overall grading that is effective for all fire departments in the county. That grading system is comprised of the categories on the following pages. If you'll notice, one of the items on there on the first page, 422, credit for telecommunications, they received a .8 out of a possible 4. That .8 basically is, we need more telecommunicators. It's a matter of manpower. And understanding this system is how you bring your ISO rating down. And there is some things that will have to be done to fix it, but it's fixable. And as you know, I've been fighting for this for 5 years. On the second page, it goes through their basic emergency reporting. Item number 2, E911 voice over internet protocol. They got 10 points out of a possible 25. So there's room there to come up another 15 points. The computer aided dispatch, they can come up another 5 points, and I believe it's with that last category of interoperability. They don't have interoperability to the levels that are required or would give them those total points with other organizations. The GIS side of it, they got 0 out of 15. I don't know if they've ever looked at that. I know most places in emergency response, when a dispatch call goes out, the emergency agency has a device in their vehicles or in their station. They have an actual GIS printout of where that call is, a map location of where we're supposed to go. They got 0 credits out of that. The most concerning page is the last one. Subheading of item 420. Now, I understand statutory compliance is one thing. All our fire departments, we have statutory compliance. 911 has a statute that they comply to. There's also standards that ISO looks at. For us, it's the National Fire Protection Association standard, and it's things that if we do them, we get credit for them. It's called going above and beyond. These matters are NFPA 1221, and it's not rocket science to get a copy of that and follow it. Alarm receipt, we got 0 points out of 20. Alarm processing, we got 0 points out of 20. Emergency dispatch protocols. Carl, we've talked about this a whole lot. It's been in the papers, been talked about for years. Protocol, they got 10 points out of 20. There's no reason we're not getting a full credit on protocol. It's not rocket science. Telecommunicator training and certifications, 0 out of 20. How many of you ever needed an ambulance? Or had family members that needed an ambulance? How does it make you feel to know that your telecommunication training and certification got a 0 grade under the insurance office industry standards? This isn't about me, guys. This isn't about my push for something. I'm telling you, we've saved a fortune in our community with what we were able to bring. This affects every single resident that pays property insurance. It affects every business. These scoring structures determine what our insurance rates are. This is 1/3 of the category that you folks in this room could have an impact on. The last one, telecommunicating, continuing education, and quality assurance. They got 10 out of 20. That whole criteria on that page, they scored 20 out of a possible 100 points. Their overall rating was 4.55 out of 10. I believe with a little bit of effort and a little bit of leadership, that can be a full credit category. It's going to take someone in this room to stand up and say, you know what, we need a new 911 board. Because your 911 board is the ones that is in charge of this, and it has fallen on deaf ears for 5 years. They're not going to do it because it's my idea. I'm telling you, I know this system, I've tried and tried and tried. This is dereliction of duty of those board members, in my opinion. There's no reason we can't save everybody in this county money on their insurance. But we're gonna give her a raise, that's her job, we gave her a raise, you're doing a fine job. Do we know what that job encompasses? No, we look at the statute and that's it. And back in 2009 or 2010, I went through this same thing face to face with Nanette. Deaf ears. I went through it with Merle Clark, deaf ears. I've been through it on the phone half a dozen times with Troy, deaf ears. I'm begging you folks to take a leadership role and replace your 911 board, and let's move this in the right direction. Thank you.
Kurt,
Yes.
what is their resistance? I mean, I didn't realize there was an issue here. Why are they, I mean, common sense, why do they resist this? You really think it's because it's your idea?
To be honest, Mike, I don't know. I really don't. I have no idea. I can tell you what we did in our community.
Well, I know, I think it's great canvases.
We're
We're saving a ton of money, I know, really.
It is a simple system. I know there's been resistance because of what we exposed with the net. I can only assume it's because it's my idea. But at some point, these numbers are unacceptable. Yes.
Does it cost money? I know they got money, but is it expensive to do all that?
There's protocols. That doesn't cost, I mean, that last page,
Training would, right?
that last page, the training requirements, compliance with NFPA 1221, that top paragraph tells you how to do it. It's not hard. Most of it's documentation. That's honestly the biggest part of it. And if you get a copy of the standard, it outlines it, and hey, let's put it all on the table. What's it take? The telecommunicators, hey, if it takes up one more or two more, that might be a cost, and we addressed that in Kansas. We had some costs that we incurred, but in the long run, we brought everybody's rate down, and it ended up putting money in every person's pocket on their insurance rates. But if they don't even look at the paperwork, and they don't even, I mean, it literally is falling on deaf ears. And I've offered, I don't know what else I can do, and at ISO, Insurance Service Office, call them. They'll come in and bring, that person comes in and evaluates them every time a fire department gets evaluated. And they told me, we've tried, this is your number, it's gonna be that way until something changes with 911. We've been through it for almost the last 6 years now. Yes.
Do you know when they did this evaluation of this?
Ours was, for this scoring, was either November or December, which encompasses a 6-year, yeah.
2014.
Yeah, and what they do,
Can't you ask to be evaluated?
yeah, you can, and that's what we did.
Yeah, so I thought you could ask.
Yeah, my question is, when did,
They
these
did-
figures, when were these done? Was this 10
Over-
years ago, or?
No, this was, they did their fall when they came to do our department, they did village, fire department, 911. That, when they do that, they look at a 5 or 6 year window. They used to do 10 years, now they're doing a 5 and 6 year window of records. So whatever from the fall of, say, last year, they go back 5 to 6 years and they look at that criteria.
So it wasn't just the last 4 years?
No, this has been I've been fighting this going on 6 years now.
Are they aware of the scores they get, 911 board?
Yes, they get, well, on the heading of the letter from ISO, and I can get you that, it sends a copy to all those people, to our village, fire department trustee, 911, there's 3 agencies involved, and they all get a copy of the scoring structure. So it's not anything new.
I don't know how much difference this makes, but I do know when the Chrisman Fire Department went through it, got their score higher, it made a heck of a difference on insurance, on your home insurance. When they proved that they could put so much water out in so much time, and they were tested on that.
As an example, we were with 1 to 10 is your rating system, 10 being terrible. You don't even have a fire department. We were at 9 when they asked me to be the chief over there, and I teach this all over the country. So it took us about 2 years. We went from a 9 to a 7. That saved an average homeowner $165 in their property tax, according to the insurance companies. 4.5 years later, we're now at a 6, so it's an additional savings. We missed a 5 that could have all been picked up right here in telecommunications. And the reason I say it could have been picked up here, I can't change our village infrastructure, water capacity, and lines. We're maxed out. We can't do any more. We can never change that score unless we put in 5-inch mains and replace that. So that's a long-term project. From the fire department side, we're volunteers, so we don't have paid staff. I can't change that number. We can come up on better documentation on pre-planning. We had some, but they've expanded to other pre-planning requirements, so we can pick up some there. But even if I do everything possible, I couldn't hit that 5. I could hit that 5 with this side of it, as could Chrisman, whatever their number is. I guarantee you they could drop another point from this side. Paris could, Vermilion. I mean, every fire department in the entire county is impacted by this score. And it's fixable. It's not something we can't fix, but you're not going to fix it unless somebody's going to take the bull by the horns and make some changes.
Have you looked at some of the other communities? I mean, I know how you are, and you probably looked at Clark, and I think Clark's got an excellent 911 system. Do you know how they score again, what their total score is?
As far as the county, their 911, I don't, I can get it.
I'm just interested.
Douglas County and Coles have a much better scoring system. Well, Douglas' system is tied in with Arcola, and granted, they've got some more funding and more manpower, but those agencies have had better scoring, but the biggest reason they have that is they have more telecommunicators. And that's a big pop. If you look on that first page, 0.8 out of a possible 4. Well, if you got the full 4 points, you would have come up to 8.5 out of 10, and that's tremendous in the final scoring. It is a fixable problem. I'm a phone call away. Anything I can do. What's that?
You have another copy of that?
Yeah.
Carl, as our representative on 911 board, could you get us an answer for our next meeting meet with the sheriff and 911 and come up with if and what we can do?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Mr. Chairman, before I begin, I wonder if I could ask for maybe an extra minute. My voice is a little bit rough today. I'd like to do things a little slow. My name is Robert Vogt. I'm an Edgar County resident. I want to talk briefly about the Edgar County Airport. I want to start by laying a foundation of history of the Edgar County Airport, recent history. We have had illegal CD accounts where funds were placed in the government treasury, a government account here in Edgar County where our treasurer should have had knowledge of that, the county board should have had control of that money, and hasn't. Those people that were involved with that, Mr. Patrick and Wells, have even said those accounts don't exist. That has been proven not to be true. I would talk briefly about the $880,000 grant at the airport that was approved by the FAA and then revoked. It was one concocted by Wells and Patrick, comprised almost entirely of concrete and lies. And that is why the FAA came back to this county and said, hold the phone, folks. You're gonna have to re-justify that. I want to mention about how the people that rent property at the airport are treated. Things like refusing to accept rent. This board may recall having to direct the airport manager to accept 4 months or 5 months worth of rent from a client. Things like blocking hangar doors, torturous interference with contracts, endless harassments, badgering, and hazing by the airport manager. Breastfeeding mothers and their babies were banned from the airport in the last 2 years. Then there was a fatal crash of November 229 Hotel. The cause is yet to be determined. That coincidentally occurred at a time when there were attempts to drive my son out of the business and from the airport had peaked. They suspect, as I do, along with the NTSB, the plane may have been tampered with. This is why the investigation on that matter is taking so long. There was a firebombing of 2 additional airplanes, November 106 Papa Tango and November 25 Mike Alpha, as they sat alongside the Baron, which is an older twin-engine airplane that had been at the airport for years. Only these 2 planes were firebombed, and there were messages tagged on them. What did they mean when they say this is our airport? What does it mean when it says fuck Rob? Maybe it was a message. Then you have the hiring of Jerry Griffin, who lied about his qualifications on employment application. He's not a pilot, does not have a medical certificate. He's also been flying as pilot in command with passengers from the Edgar County Airport, and that will be another problem for this board. When asked about the crash of November 736 AA, he first failed to inform the airport advisory board of this crash, the airport committee, or the county board, or that there was even a crash. And then he lied about it when cornered and said it occurred in June, before he became the airport manager, when it actually happened in August. There were reports he was in that plane during the crash, giving flight instruction to a female family member of the owner. Then he hid all the details of this crash from the county board. There is the hiring of Lisa Gill by the then advisory board without publishing notice of an opening, without a job description, without the legal authority to do so, and without following the county's hiring policies. There is an abysmal monthly fuel sales report from the airport. No Jet A fuel sold in one recent month. That was followed by a grand total of 65 gallons of all fuel the following month. I purchased more fuel in my car on a monthly basis than that purchased by the entire aviation community in the county, state, nation, and the world in that month. Then this last Monday's board meeting, it was reported we sold about 250 gallons. Once again, less fuel purchased than that by my wife and myself from our vehicles than was purchased by the entire aviation community in our county, state, nation, and world. The recent history of the Edgar County Airport is horrible, and to this day, many aviators refuse to even land at our airport because of that history. May I point out, this county will likely contribute $100,000 to $200,000 to this airport this year, and whatever that number actually is, we must accept the fact the airport revenue is declining and the facilities have deteriorated to the point where substantially more funds will be needed. Just know that each year, decade after decade, Edgar County has dumped tens of thousands of dollars into this airport, and as funds become less plentiful and as tax revenues decline in Edgar County, as our taxes went up to pay for a new high school, and as they will go up again to pay for a new jail, when a new jail is constructed, taxpayers will most certainly assess the benefit of the airport to the county and to the less than 10 local aviators, as opposed to the costs and consequences of maintaining it. Taxpayers will become more aware of the airport's detailed history and that has become a magnet for illegal, immoral, corrupt, and criminal activities. Almost done. Almost done. I appreciate your patience. In closing my comments, let me say, my son dearly loved aviation and strongly supported the Edgar County Airport. However, if he were here today and given a choice of keeping this corrupt airport operation open or closing it, I believe he would close it, especially given the turn of events. I also believe many family members, friends, and members of the community, both locally and nationwide, have looked to me with their reservations regarding this airport. In deep respect for Rusty's love of aviation, of myself and my family, they have followed our lead in supporting the airport. This is about to change if this board does not set a new course for the airport. Mr. Griffin, who has lied to this county board and the airport committee time and again, needs to be discharged. Lisa Gill, who arrived without a published job opening, without a job description, and began employment, needs to leave also. We need to clean up our act, folks. We need to do the right thing. In other words, we need to straighten up and fly right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Item 8 is highway resolutions. Resolution number 1, resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign amendment number 1 to BLR 05510 CH33 section 13-00121-00-WR. Aaron?
It's an addendum to an existing professional service agreement with HLR to provide Geocon to come in and test for possible remediation at 4 or 5 known wreck locations on the Prairie's Edge project. So you're actually, the county highway is actually asking the board to approve additional funding to do this additional study. Additional required study to, for the project to progress.
Any questions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yes.
I'll have a roll call.
Voight,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Item 2, resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign a construction engineering service agreement, BLR 05511 to Hillard and BLR 05512 for Knight for CH33 section 13-00121-00-WR.
If I may, I'd like to have an opportunity to present all 3 of the next resolutions at the same time. Take note of just the far right section number at the bottom of all 3, where it says section 13-, section 11-, and section 11-. The first one is 13-, that is a construction engineering agreement for Prairie's Edge. The second one, the 11-, SP, that's a construction engineering agreement for Heelan's Dip. And the third one, section 11-, is a construction engineering agreement for the major bridge. All 3 of these resolutions are to allow the county highway department to prepare federal agreements for your approval next month, assuming IDOT has them ready by then. So what we're doing is we're packaging construction engineering, a complete construction engineering agreement, and using these 2 agencies as a part of that service. So again, the first one's Prairie's Edge, the second one's Heelan's Dip, and the third one's the major bridge. If there's a question on any of those 3 as we progress through them, I'd prefer to answer them at that time. So the first one, I'm asking you guys if you will approve Knight and Hillard to help on construction engineering on Prairie's Edge.
So move.
Second.
I'll second that.
Well, roll call.
Voigt,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Resolution passed. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing County Board Chairman to sign construction engineering services agreement BLR 05511 for Hillard and BLR 05512 for Knight for CH1 Section 11-00106-00 SP Heelands Dip.
So moved.
Second.
Have a roll call.
Voigt,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Item 4 is a resolution authorizing County Board Chairman to sign construction engineering services agreement BLR 05611 for Hillard and Knight, TR 158, 12,000 Street, Section 11-14126-00-BR, Major Bridge.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Voigt,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Motion. Resolution carried. Item 9, approve voting centers with precincts served for 2015-2016. That's just approving existing, right?
It's a formality that we do, nothing has changed.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the voting centers with precincts served for 2015 and 2016. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 10, authorize chairman to execute GPS approach procedures for airport runways with Hanson Professional Services Incorporated and IDOT Division of Aeronautics.
Mr. Chairman, the Airport Advisory Committee would like to recommend that we approve this. I'll go into the next two in an explanation about the projects, but this one's fairly straightforward, so I move its approval.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the chairman to execute GPS approach procedures for airport runways with Hanson Professional Services Incorporated and IDOT Division of Aeronautics. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 11, authorize chairman to execute TIP agreement with IDOT Division of Aeronautics to rehabilitate partial parallel taxiway.
Mr. Chairman. The next two items we discussed at length, and I spent a lot of time on the phone with Barry Stoltz yesterday. We are recommending that we approve these two. We are not ultimately committed to them, but it'll set that up. The one, number 11, in order to get back on track, the airport committee will be looking at the possibility of making the corrections, the ceiling project out at the airport much sooner than this project would allow. Number 11 wouldn't be done till next year. We need to do some things to the airport and make some decisions on it before then. Now, if we expand, for example, we have a bid right now for $21,500 roughly from a company that's recognized by the department over in Springfield as being a good vendor for doing the ceiling work out at the airport. If we should happen or get other bids to do this and approve that, we've got to come up with a plan on how to pay for it outside of the regular means in Department 100 or Fund 100. Additionally, if we do that, then it throws all of our projects back on the table and maybe even for some work this year. Now, I kind of open that up for question, because I know, Carl, you weren't there the other night, and I know you probably have some questions about it. Both Mr. Helsley and I were there, and do you have anything to add to what I have
Well,
said?
to simplify it,
Please.
we have a taxiway, for all intents and purposes, did not meet a score that IDOT thought it needed to meet. They say it's critical that we fix it before they do anything else with us. We have to have that fixed. Now, we either fix it now, and Jeff doesn't like me to use this term, but put a Band-Aid on it so that we can continue with the other projects, or they're gonna say, no, we wait, we don't do anything, then we resurface it all together, and that's a bid that is maybe 2 years away, or.
It's gonna be at least a year and a half away, and then we got more deterioration on top of it.
Right. And so what they're suggesting is, if we fix this to their specifications and get our score up, then all the other projects that we've got, including the fuel island and everything else, goes back on the table, and the clock starts ticking again. And then we are in position ourselves to get, our 10-year plan will be right back on par, and we'll be going in the right direction. Now, Jeff hasn't, I understood that we only got one bid, it was 21,000. Now Jeff's done some further research, and we may be able to get some cheaper bids. This isn't gonna get done, guys, until, and ladies, until, spring, because it's not possible to do it tomorrow or the next day. So we've got a little bit of time, but in order to get, the division off of our backs, we need to get some kind of a commitment that we're going to get it done, and show them, here's the contract's gonna do it on the first good day we can get it done, then everything's back to.
We can't dally with it. We
Right.
need to get a contractor online, or however we're gonna do it, and get on their program. If we wait too long, we're gonna push ourselves farther and farther out, because right now, they're making plans for spring, and we need to get on their list now. You probably understand that, if we don't get to them soon enough. There is no requirement for a contractor to be approved by the department to do this. You don't have to be approved to do this.
And we can even do it ourselves with volunteer and that, but here's the thing, guys, if we do that and we don't do it right, then we've wasted all that money and we're right back in the same, they're saying your score's not high enough.
Right now, we're at 60, we need to be at a 70. Barry thinks that with a little work, we can be back up to 80 and be in the program, and then get on an annual basis to keep up with.
Can I have a motion?
Nobody local that's qualified.
I'm sorry, yes.
We really
I don't know.
should, really should have a motion.
I
before we
already,
discuss.
I made a motion to
Oh, okay,
approve it.
we need a second.
Nobody local is qualified to do that, or can
We're
do it.
fine.
Okay.
We need a second first.
Second.
The answer is yes, there are some folks that may be able to do it around here. I'm waiting for one guy to get back from vacation. Open Road, are you familiar with them? Yeah, well, at any rate, they're out of Champaign. There may be other folks around, but, it's not a huge job.
That's why I was
So-
asking. I wondered.
But at any rate, that's where we're at on that. As far as finding the revenues, even if we get this fixed and get our projects back online, and we should need to do debt certificates, we wouldn't owe our first debt certificate until a year from spring. So we do have, for example, the farm fund could be a source. We had a late payment actually into this year, so we started the year with $11,000 that we hadn't budgeted. And additionally, if we don't use the debt service, we had 17.5 in that particular category. So that makes roughly $28,600 available that we don't have anything to spend it on. So that's one source. We could also take it out of your budget. No, we have, and then we have the aviation fund also. So we have a couple of sources of funds that could make this possible. We just need to assure that we're getting the best value for what we're having done.
One other thing I can add, in the past, the airport has done it basically themselves, they've kept up. For who knows what reason, that hasn't been done in the last few years, and those cracks have deteriorated. If we get the wrong kind of winter, it could make it even worse. And then our expense to resurface it in a year and a half from now or 2 years from now is gonna be even higher, so. I mean, do we put oil in the car, or do we just keep hoping it'll run until we can get time to get a new one? I mean, that's the.
So back to the motion, by passing this, we're simply leaving all of our options open.
Any other discussion?
Yes. So what you're saying that possibly spending 20,000 as a Band-Aid,
Right.
and then a year and a half from now, if everything goes right, they'll do this as part of the master plan, do this overall project of 450,000.
Eventually,
And our share of that's 22,000, so in the end, it's gonna cost us minimum of 40,000 to get that fixed.
that is possible.
Possible.
But that includes milling and some other things
Right.
that this particular field would not. And it might push it off to 3 or 4 years from now.
So, okay, that was my
And
question.
normally, Carl, the way I understand it, we would have spent 6,500 to 7,000 a year anyway on this maintenance that we haven't done.
Haven't done for 2 years.
Yeah,
Well, it's been longer than that.
yeah, I don't wanna say something I don't know, but,
Okay.
yeah, in theory, 2-3 years.
Yeah. It's been a while, and we need to get back on the program. But yeah, you could look at it that way. I mean, that's,
Any other discussion? The question was, authorize chairman to execute TIP agreement with IDOT Division of Aeronautics to rehabilitate partial parallel taxiway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, authorize chairman to execute TIP agreement with IDOT Division of Aeronautics to rehabilitate auto parking lot.
Mr. Chairman, again, we're recommending that just to maintain our flexibility. We've even talked to Aaron about some of these things. It may be that we can work something out with the Department of Aeronautics and Highway Department, because Aaron, please, if I misspeak, you're comfortable with working on the vehicular pavements or surfaces, and that's what this one covers.
Yeah, the county highway department's obviously comfortable on doing whatever we're directed by the board as it pertains, as it pertains to what we can and cannot do. And we are of the opinion, we were asked to do some research on various things, and we passed along that certainly anything outside what we thought may or would likely be a restricted area is something that the board at its pleasure could direct.
Okay.
And a real quick comment, and I don't want to add any type of confusion to this, but just a comment. Edgar County is approved in FY15 to spend Fed money, significant Fed money.
Right.
And our relationship with the Federal Highway Administration, which I don't know anything about FAA. I know that there's a Division of Transportation and Division of Aeronautics, and they all Division of Highways and Aeronautics, and we all have the same leaders, the Department of Transportation. So I suspect most of the programs that like a tip sheet, we have our tip sheets in, and these tip sheets that were already submitted have been approved. So the county does have currently FY15 money to spend. And from what I'm hearing and speculating, merely speculating on, they're asking you to ask the new governor to include programming for FY16. I am of the opinion that the possibility exists that your current FY15 dollars could be used. Again, forgive me if I don't have a clue. You guys are meeting?
I've asked that question. They
Well, what
cannot
we
be
want to
used
do-
till next year on the pavement.
That blows me away that they're asking you not to use
It's-
money they've got programmed for you on something
They
that's
will
very
use it on
needed.
something else, but not that.
They just won't use it on.
No.
So they're not into the pavement preservation, they're just.
They are for next year. They will approve it for next year, but not for this
And
year.
they're still gonna make you spend local money to get there?
Yes.
See, I just don't understand that at all. Sorry for adding confusion, but what was the
No.
question? Yeah, the highway department's very interested in performing day labor with outside revenue. Very interested.
That's all I was trying to make the point, that we needed to be careful because we might be able to help ourselves by
Yes, sir.
involving you.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
I may move that this be approved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize chairman to execute TIP agreement with IDOT, Division of Aeronautics, to rehabilitate auto parking lot. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye, or no, whatever you want to say. I guess my concern is that on all these projects, you know, the taxiway, 20,000 for our share, the parking lot, 15,000, and eventually if the fuel farm goes, and I think that was 80 or 90,000, where we're gonna get the money to get all these projects.
First of all, we're not committed to them,
Right.
and second of
I
all, debt
understand.
certificates.
Right, but, you know, that's a concern that I have for what we've got going on out there, all the money.
Yeah, it all adds up.
Right.
Motion carries. Item 13, appoint the following Board of Health terms expiring. And I would point out that John McNary would be a new member of the board that's been recommended by the Health Department Board. Isn't that correct, Dan?
Yes.
But Dr. Shafe and Dr. Phipps and Ginger Johnson and McNary would be for till July of this year. And Ollie Smith and Cindy Belt and Jason Graham and would be for 16 when their term's up.
What about Dan Bruder? He's up there too.
Yeah, Dan's is up every 2 years. Every time a chairman's appointed, that position can change.
So watch yourself.
Is there any possibility of getting a motion on
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second to appoint the Board of Health, terms expiring as I stated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Item 14, resolution approving the bond of James E. Schuler, Commissioner of the Hughes Drainage District, Shiloh,
So moved.
Edgar County.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution approving bond for James E. Schuler, Commissioner of Hughes Drainage District in Shiloh, Edgar County. All those, we'll have roll call.
Voight.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
We need a resolution for item 15 to approving bond for John McGinnis, Commissioner of Brockton Drainage District.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bond of John McGinnis, Commissioner of Brockton Drainage District. All those in favor?
No.
Resolution, excuse me.
Ready?
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Item 16 is department head reports. Don, you want to start this?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. We received a call Monday or Tuesday that the auditors will be on site starting Monday, January 26th. So please spread the word. Most of you have seen the auditors come in and know what to expect. We've already provided them with a lot of preliminary information, trial balances, transaction histories, everything, the bank statements of what I manage. So don't be surprised. I told them to contact you folks directly on your funds that you manage, you know, in the banks, local banks. I'm assuming they may have already contacted you, I'm not sure. But they already have a lot of that. They're getting it set up. All this preliminary stuff helps them get here, get started, and hit the ground running, as they say, and gets them in and out of here. We have a location in our building for them to set up camp, and I think last year they did somewhere over here in the courthouse. They kind of set up a camp too, maybe down in the basement or somewhere, so don't be surprised. You'll probably be able to find them maybe the second week is when they start going out. Probably at the next meeting, I will present the resolution for you folks to authorize me to seek tax anticipation financing. I normally do it in December, January, but I haven't had the wolves breathing down my neck as much, so it hasn't been a priority. But I would still like to go ahead and get that done and get some bid results, see what we'd have to borrow at to hold us over till we start getting tax payments in and distributed to the taxing districts. Other than that, you've been presented your report and we're holding our ground. Say we're only about $5,000 difference from the previous month as far as the general fund. Things are, we're getting some payments, not as much as I'd like to see, but I think we got October's income tax. I'd sure like to see it get bumped up one more month, but don't know what's going to happen there. Any questions from anybody? Thank you.
Aaron, do you have anything from the highway department? Probation?
Nothing new to report, thank you.
Supervisor of assessment?
Yes, 2014 reassessment notices have begun to arrive in our office with final shipment due tomorrow. We are sorting and stuffing those notices and plan to have them in the hands of the taxpayers by January 22nd. That's also the day they'll be published. And taxpayers will have the opportunity to file complaints in our office through February 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a question. When does the board of review start meeting and going over things?
As they're already convened June 1st, but they will come in as soon as we have enough complaints to send them out and start work.
So it'll be after, like, in March?
We're anticipating the first week of February to get them started.
Well, was there some discussion?
Yeah, what's the,
status of that?
A change on the, there'll be no change on the board of,
Okay.
review board. After reading this, the statute was changed last year,
13.
13,
2015.
and it states that the person with the most votes, which was Donald.
Okay, well, that's why I asked you to check on that, to see what,
So there won't be any change on the board of review like that we thought would be. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
Circuit clerk,
I have nothing, sir.
the sheriff, do you have something for us?
Just, we're almost back up to full staff. Our 2 new deputies, which almost had us complete on the road there. New jailer / corrections officer. We will test for dispatcher tomorrow night. Plus, so we'll include a hiring list, so we should be back up to full staff there. And we're getting applications for the secretary's position that hopefully we will get filled sometime in the next 30 days. That's it.
Thank you.
we were talking at the meeting the other day, when is Vicki gonna retire?
The letter she gave me, she's looking into October. I mean,
So you anticipate maybe for 6 months having someone in there?
6 or 7 months, you know, over the shoulder, her over their shoulder training. So the thing that really bothers me worse than anything is to get somebody, I don't think some of the people realize how much she does do.
Right.
And that 3 months into it, they're gonna say, I don't want this, and have to start all over. So, you know, I've got almost 50 applications in already in a week.
How many?
Almost 50. I probably don't want to hear that.
I'll tell you later.
Has the sheriff's committee assisted you in reviewing them,
What's that?
in reviewing 50 applicants?
Let's try not to smile.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Edgar,
We're having an exercise planning meeting on Tuesday, just to help get preparations and plan for our exercise this year. And we are also having an IEMA training course being offered February 3rd and 4th out at the Fire Training Center. As for like, another certain departments, it's a required, this course is a
requirement for them, so we tried to offer it locally instead of us traveling to Chicago or Springfield or something. And then we are in the process of getting badges printed for the sheriff's department. We've had a little hold up on that, and we're hopefully we'll resolve that soon and get sheriff taken care of.
Can you send, or can or will you send out notices to board members on these meetings?
Okay, well, I wasn't sure, like, usually we have like what we call an exercise planning team. It's made up of someone from the fire department, the sheriff department, the hospital, ambulance, and then I think like the local police. And we're the ones that we decide, like, you know, when the date is.
Sure.
You know, the type of exercise we want, but if you want me to start sending you guys out.
Well, the ESTA committee should be,
Okay, okay, I will do that.
No, I'm on it, but I think you're the chairman.
Yeah, he's my new chairman.
You what?
I said, he's the new
Oh,
chairman.
Andy is?
Mhm.
Bow to you, Mr. Chairman.
anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Anything from the ambulance service?
No, sir.
Thank you. Does the county clerk have anything?
Yes, I do, thank you. I mentioned Monday at the study session about the print that would honor those who gave their lives in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I brought that in. It's over here on the bench, if you'd like to look at that. Also, there's a little plaque with the names of those that gave their lives. And I've spoke with the sheriff, and we're good to go there. Spoke with the chairman of Building and Grounds. He's in favor of it, so it's just a matter now of getting it positioned on the wall, most likely outside of my office, next to John Landrum's.
Can anybody, any veterans in or everything have a position they'd like to put that in the courthouse? Well, I talked to Augie, and if you think there's a better spot for it, or a more appropriate spot, I don't know where it would be, but
Okay.
that's not etched in stone that it goes right there next to your office.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're open to ideas, subject to the sheriff's approval. The other thing I want to mention is, of course, we have an election coming up. It is the consolidated election on April the 7th. It's for the municipalities and the villages. So the school board members, and I mentioned this before, but the governor signed a new bill late last year that basically handed over the school board elections to the county clerk's office. So we've completed our responsibility there, and the other local election officials, those would be the clerks of the villages and the towns, of the municipalities. They have until January 29th to certify their list of candidates that need to go on the ballot for this April. Another date, February the 5th is the last day to file a declaration of intent to be a write-in candidate. A couple dates there.
What date was that?
February the 5th. Also, we have been working on our recording. You know, we got a new recording vendor. And part of the program is to allow public access online to public records. And but there's a lot of work that has to go into that. We are nearing the launch of that service. I just wanted to update, we're getting closer, so that anybody that wants to look up a deed or a mortgage or any type of public record that's been recorded from 1994 to the present, you'll be able to access that online from anywhere. And so there will be a fee associated with that. That will depend upon the type of subscription that you choose to elect. So we're working on that. I'll give you the details once we go on, live with that. Also want to mention, I don't want to speak for Ross, but Ross indicated to me that he is creating a new website for the county. It's going to be more user-friendly for both the public and those of us elected officials and department heads. Basically, the information is going to be the same as it is now, but it's going to be moved over into a new format. And I want to encourage the department heads and the elected officials to take a look at your webpage as it is now and contact Ross if you have any questions or want to make any changes. Now is the time to do that. Oh, yeah, we started the tax levies. So all those levies had to be filed by the end of December, basically. And we've been busy inputting levies in preparation for tax extension. So,
Yeah.
unless there's any other questions for me. Thank you.
Committee reports. Yes.
Yes, sir. We, on budget, we have expended roughly 10.4% of the budget, and we're at 16% plus of the year gone by. Everything looks to be in line. I've already given more or less an airport report. The sheriff and I are going to be meeting with the hospital next week on prisoner medical, so we can all get up to date on where we're at on that. I've gotten with the treasurer and we've done a little investigating on some funds and so forth, so we hope to be able to get the sheriff so he can make some decisions and we get things on board the way they should be. We'll also, the committee for office holders will be meeting with, the finance committee will be meeting with Dina on some issues, since she's new and she wants to understand what's going on, and so we understand what she wants to do. We're gonna be meeting with her. That's all I have at this point.
Thank you. Carl?
Jeff, you might pass that ISO or whatever it's called information on to Nanette, and later this week I'll get with you.
Okay.
And we'll set up a meeting, maybe next week we can sit down and talk about it and see what needs to be done, what we can do on our part to improve the situation.
Raise everything, or whatever we have.
So just pass it on and get her thinking about that.
Got a copy up here now.
And familiarize yourself with what maybe you can do as a part of the,
Right, on the dispatch end of it.
that's it.
Mike?
Oh, radio equipment.
Oh.
Have you got something going on the radio equipment?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Supreme Radio. They have to get a release on some security stuff for the radio system, and then they're supposed to come down and start reprogramming radios.
To hopefully improve the
Yeah.
communication.
Me and Jamie from the city are gonna do they were wanting to do a grid thing. Where we crisscross the county with a computer and a radio, and picked out our hot, and with Jamie's computer skills, they sent him the program, so me and him are gonna do that ourselves and save paying two guys from
Right.
somewhere else doing it.
Right.
Anything else? Thank you. Mike?
No, don't have anything.
Alan?
Nope.
Andy?
Nothing at this point.
Dan?
Mr. Chairman, we met Monday at the animal shelter. We decided to have meetings instead of every month, every 3 months. And they'll be on the first Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock in Crackman Morning. And if we need a special meeting in between, we can set that up. But we'll save the county some money too, because we're paid per meeting, so. But that's a secondary thing. We didn't think we needed a meeting doing this. I go out there every week anyway and play with the cats, so. it works out.
But your wife will let you have a cat.
We can get you a cat.
They got a cat, no, no, they got a cat like this big in their house.
But the meetings are posted in the Augie's office, or at the Craigman's office. Nothing else.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
State's attorney wanted to meet with us.
Yes. Yes.
State's attorney would like to meet with us in closed session if somebody would be interested in making that motion.
Can you tell us what that, I mean, before we make a motion for closed session, what it is?
Everything that's written down.
Pending litigation, is that a
Everything
yes?
that's written down.
Yeah. Everything that's written down is what the,
Okay, sure. I'd make a motion that we go into closed session, then I'll see to, guys. For the appointment, employment compensation, discipline, performance, dismissal or dismissal of specific employees of a public body, and pending litigation.
I'll second that.
we have a motion and second to go into closed session for appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of a public body and pending litigation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We don't anticipate any action or?
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we're back in our meeting. Open session, our meeting. Is there anything else to be brought up before the meeting?
No.
If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Could we get a second on that?
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Don't forget, we got
Meeting's
stuff to
adjourned.
sign.
Yeah.
Paper